Alright, finally got my favorite combine mechanic lined up. The saga of the combine continues today. Well, you got a plan on how this is supposed to go forward?
Because it goes like I think it's going to get this blind hole to the top and be able to slide it out to the other side.
Hopefully just pull a wiring harness off and a few head bolts and pull the head up.
No, we ain't gonna pull the head unless you want to pull the head.
Oh, you ain't got to pull the head. I thought.
I go out to the other side over and take that cam gear off and go take the cam out the other side.
Oh, I thought it had to come out the fan side there.
No, it's gotta come out somewhere.
Oh, well, I like that then. This will be a little bit easier than I thought. All right, we'll try and do get this blind hole right here, get it at the top, and he said get the numbers at the bottom, and then that way the camshaft ought to be timed up. Easiest way to get one in and out there. Then that big sprocket on the top camshaft comes out this way. All right, got everything lined up there, it looks like. So that thing gonna be stuck in there pretty good, or should it just tap right on out?
It'll have a retainer plate, and once we get that retainer plate moving, it should come on moving.
She moving? There she goes.
Alright, you grab it.
Support this in.
Take yours, you got to drop.
Well, that was relatively easy. I'll get everything lined up. All right, got the old camshaft sitting here. You can see real good how that roller on the rocker arm had eaten in there real good. Got a new one sitting here in the plastic, and right now Jacob's just replacing a few seals on some caps, and then I think we're gonna be ready to put this sucker back in. Got an engine assembly grease. We're gonna coat the camshaft in liberally going back in, make sure there's not gonna be any dry start.
Whenever you're ready.
Go ahead. All right.
Alright, you back in.
All right. All right, what's next? Next, we ready for the rocker arm, or you got some other stuff to do first?
No, we gotta get the cam gear and all that back on first before we start putting the rocker on there.
Hey, here's the rocker arm. I done lost track of which way it sits in there. No, they say the longer ones have to be on this side, so I guess it's going to go in straight in like that. Oh, hold on, we got a piece of dirt down here.
Yeah, dirt in there.
We need a bunch more arms. I'm sure there's a proper torque spec for that, ain't there?
Yeah, look it up to remember it right off the top of my head, because I'm kind of like yourself or whatever. When I looked all this information up before, it's been about a month. It's kind of hard to store all that stuff in your head when you
been a lot of numbers go through there since then.
Lord Jesus.
All right, you said the book spec on those bolts torque was 65 to
69 to 85.
69 to 89.
85.
How many ugga-dugs on a impact wrench is that going to be?
4.5.
4.5.
I believe.
Just as long as they meet the German torque system, good and tight.
That's right. Good and tight. Good and tight.
All right, I think we found what actually caused my problem. Remember this number 2 right here was the one that was eating up so bad, and anyway, that cam lobe is pointing down. It's not engaging, and there's no slack at all. I mean, if you look at the threads here compared to these others got a lot more threads, which means that the tappet on these is a lot farther up than this, and this is pushed down. So I'm thinking that's what originally caused my problem, was the valves being bad out of adjustment and just causing this roller to eat up into the camshaft. And I think this one right here is another one that was eaten up, and you can see down there that lobe is up for can't remember if that's the intake or the exhaust, but this one right here, so this one should definitely be closed. And I mean, there's no slack at all, whereas these others, you can hear it, you know, they're the way they're supposed to be. So I think that's what happened. I don't know if these valves just got out of adjustment, or last time this engine was open, or at the factory. I mean, who knows, but I think that's what caused the problem. All right, this is why it definitely pays to have a professional work on things sometimes. He was going through his tech manual there, and what we didn't realize is that for these bolt holes to hold the rocker arm on, you got a little bit different sizes on them, and the manual specifically states that the big hole is supposed to be on the bottom and the small hole on top. We saw that, we checked them out, and sure enough, we had the big holes facing towards the top. And you know, I don't have access to those tech manuals, whatever, and if I'd put it on myself, I wouldn't have thought nothing about it. I just put it on there, and I don't know if that bigger hole is to let oil go up in there, and I could have potentially starved the engine of oil and been worse off. So it's times like that. It's not cheap to have a professional out here, but in a lot of cases, it could actually wind up being cheaper in the long run. All right, got all the valves adjusted. What'd you wind up adjusting? What, about three or four of them?
3 or 4.
All right, so now it's just a matter of putting everything back on there and seeing if she'll fire up. All right, there she is, all put back together. I believe so, anyway. All right, so what all's involved in bleeding this thing? Just crank on it until she fires?
Open the bleeder, fire, whatever. Just get the fuel filter back up there full. And then once the fuel filter's full or whatever, you know, sit and let it run just a little while, or a few seconds, 10, 15, 20 seconds or whatever, and then try to fire it off.
That's provided my batteries are charged up. That might be that might be a pretty tough request right now. All right, here we go. Yeah, looks like gonna need that jump pack. All right, take 2. Got a jump box on there. Oh yeah. It's alive. It's smoking a little bit. Seems like I've been waiting dang near 3 months to hear that sound again. I sure do feel relieved right now. Now we can at least move this thing, move it over to the shop where we can do some real work on it. Because the heavy lifting is yet to be done. All this unloading auger and everything. All right, we're gonna go back there and make sure there ain't no leaks or anything. And if everything looks good, we'll see you back across the road. Yes, it successfully moved into the shop. Can't tell you how happy I am. But before we get to putting the unloading auger and everything back in, we gotta do some repair to my sump there. You know, this thing got a lot of hours on it, a lot of bushels, and you know, some of that metal is it's definitely thinner than what it was brand new. So we're going to go with one of these IHLE liner kits for the sump, and you see it's already pre-cut and everything, and it's supposed to be just as easy as dropping it in there and then just tack welding it in place. So we got to do that before we go back with elbow and augers and everything else. All right, we got all of our liner and everything welded up in there, so now we're ready to start assembling this jigsaw puzzle. First step will be the vertical auger there. We went ahead and put two more new pieces of poly flight in there on the top two flights where it was started getting worn down, where it was having to push, grain up into the elbow going that way. That's where we're going to see the most wear. So got two brand new pieces on there. We got a brand new elbow that's going to go on top of that, new wear ring. The cross piece this pivot fits in, got new bushing on there. That'll go on after that. And then put the grain bin extensions back on, and then we will put the horizontal auger on, button everything up, and that part will be ready to cut some wheat. I think it's so much easier with a crane. I think I want to set up a GoFundMe page so people can donate, so they'll give me a service truck with a crane on her. All right, we got the new elbow on everything. Got this brace, and let me tell you, out of the whole job, this brace is the hardest. There's like a million bolts, all different sizes and everything. Taking it out's not all that bad. Putting it back, a little bit worse, getting everything lined up. But all that is done. Now, I think it's just ready for the easy part, the horizontal auger and everything. In case you was wondering where Kelly and Andy's at, they out spreading fertilizer on the corn today. Wave, Kelly. She ain't having none of it. Yeah, they've been busy in amongst the rains. They say we got all our corn sprayed. Got first half of our cotton sprayed for thrips, because thrips was wearing it out. We'll come up to a good stand. And we got started side dressing corn last week. Now they're finishing it up today or tomorrow morning, hopefully before the next round of rain comes in tomorrow at some point. All right, my time-lapse camera went dead, so it's going to have to make do with a few clips. We got the grain bin extension, everything, all that bolted back up. Now we're finally ready for the easy part. All right, boom out. Down. All right, boom out. Oh, let me get on the other side.
All right, hold up.
All right. All right. Got all my bolts in, down to the last hole. Then you see how there's a gap between those holes? It's got to line up a specific way, and guess what? We're off one bolt hole. So this whole tube needs to be rotated one bolt hole around. All right, that's got all that part finished up. Just got to re-zip tie my wiring harness there on the auger, but other than that, that part is ready to go. So now we can get started with a few other knick-knack things, a couple belts and bearings and stuff, swapping over weight, no big deal on that. We'll get to work on it here shortly in the shop. I'll tell you what, this area right here, where this stuff has been stacked for the last 3 months that we've tripped over and had to walk around, I sure am proud to have this area back. No more tripping over that. Well, Jacob, man, I can't thank you enough for your help. I couldn't have done it without you. Or if I did, it'd take me 5 times as long and a lot more of my special vocabulary.
We all got that sometimes.
Where are you headed now? Work on planter?
Either a planter or a tractor with a cab suspension. Figure out. I imagine it's a planter with her telling me to call her as soon as I got done.
Got you. Well, at least I didn't take up too much of your afternoon.
Hey, that's part of it.
Well, I'm gonna get out of the sun and sit down for a few minutes rest before I pull this thing back in here and get started on the rest of it. I don't want to tell the rain to go away, but it can take a vacation for about a week and a half. Carter got done with exams today, so I'm gonna teach him how to work on a truck axle. There you go. We got a bad water pump and it's done created a mess. You want me to get you a pillow and a blanket and you can just take a nap down there?
Might as well.
All right, the bottom one is stuck in there. We can't get it out, so we're going to use a little persuasion. All right, Andy, your professional opinion. Should I just try and ease it out, or should I get a running start and yank it out?
I was just thinking about that in my head. I know which one would be more entertaining.
Kids, do not try this at home.